Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be dealing with one of the topics for purposive communication and also oral communication in context. But here we're going to be focusing on the context of purposive communication. Purposive communication is one of the course wherein students are dealing with, meaning this is a course in college this is a minor subject or the core subject. So let's proceed again. So again, our topic for today would be communication models. So let's proceed. So what do you mean by communication models? Communication model is basically more of this is a framework of communication process that would help you understand how communication works in a way that this is a framework where you would see different elements of communication and how they work with each other, how they are different with each other. So that is communication model or communication framework. So let's proceed with identifying the three types of models of communication. So we do have three. First is linear, second one is interactional, and of course, third one is transactional. So let's proceed for you to understand and see the differences and see the similarities of it. Let's proceed with the first model, which is about the linear model. Linear model meaning it's a one-way process from the sender giving the message, and another one is the receiver, meaning the sender send the message and the receiver receive the message, and the communication ends right here. So the examples of linear models based from the theories are, of course, Aristotle model, Laswell's model, Shannon-Weaver, and then Berlow's sender, message, channel, and the receiver. Again, linear model is just one way, meaning one-way communication and the communication ends. Understand? So how does it go? For example, the sender say, hi, and then the sender sent the message to the receiver, which is hi, and then the receiver heard it, and then that's it. When he doesn't have any response and feedback, therefore that's only linear model, meaning he just received the message. So that's linear model. Now let's proceed with the next one, interactive model or interaction model. So what do you mean by interactive model? If linear model is a one-way process of communication, interactive model basically more of there is a feedback. So what do you mean by that? The example of interactive model are the following. Of course, we have Osgood Scrum, the Wesley, and the Maclean models. And those three are referring to two-way communication with indirect feedback. So for example, the sender sent a message, hi, and then the receiver received the message that the sender wants to say hi. Of course, when the receiver and he wants to say or he wants to respond to that, and then he say hello, that is interactive model, meaning there is a message encoded by the sender and then received by the receiver, and then he decodes it, and then when he decodes it, he tries to encode another message, and that is the response of her based on what the sender sent. And now the receiver becomes the sender already, and that is interactive model. Understand? So again, this is a two-way communication. Always remember that when we talk about interactive model, this is a model wherein there is a feedback. Okay, so there are differences or context of differences with Osgood Scrum, Wesley, and Macleay in a way that those different models have distinction in terms of, for example, channel, for example, noise, and for example, also there are different contexts that they try to look into when trying to when trying to look into the interactive model. But all of them, all of those models are leading to the second type of model, which is about the interactive model. So next, let's proceed. Next one is transactional model. And this is what we call like looping of communication. So the example of transactional model is the Barlows model, wherein it illustrates two-way communication, but it works simultaneously, meaning the sender, the receiver, the sender the receiver becomes the sender, and then becomes the receiver. In short, the communication is going and going and going. So from the encoder or the communicator and then the decoder, there is a message, and then the decoder respond to the message of the communicator or the sender, and becomes the sender again, and then becomes the receiver, and then story goes, communication goes, moving on, and also in short, from short message become a longer message, and become different topics were discussed between the sender and the receiver, and receiver becomes the sender. So in short, what do you mean by transactional model? It's looping, meaning from one context of communication and then takes another branch of message. For example, he say hi, and then the other one said hello, and then how are you? And then he said, I'm fine. And then the other one said, how about you? How are you too? So in short, from one topic, jumping to another topic and another topic, that is what you mean by transactional model. In short, it's not enough that there is a one-way process. It's not enough that there's a two-way process, but it is the communication is going and going, and that is transactional model. So that's it for the transactional model. I hope you understand. Usually we do this one when we try to have inquiry, when we try to have like communicating to your friends, talking to talking to one, where in the communication goes and goes and goes. So in short, different topics are coming within a certain of communicational context. Okay. So in short, again, so that's it. So anyway, that activity is for my discussion, but with my other industrial technology students. But to look at it, um, communication really has that kind of framework wherein you understand the different processes, and how and why do you need to understand that? You need to understand that so that you will know how the communication works with one person or two person or three or more, and how or what are the ways or what are the concepts, and was this what are the factors that hinders communication. Because when some there are things that hinders the communication, definitely misunderstanding comes in. And when you try to put it into a purposive communication, we try to communicate because there's a purpose, like for example in a workplace, in a certain situation, so in short, you just don't communicate. You communicate because you want to understand one another, and communication is really needed in a workplace. So that's it for the communication model. So we're going to have other discussion of that one, another topic that is in line with the purposive communication for my next vlog. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a nice day.